Wow, taking down the whole dancer crew, huh? Mm-mm. It sounds like when you met her, she was a party girl and she wanted to settle down. Yeah, that's just who she is. It came out. It came out during the marriage. And she went there and lost her mind. She lost her husband in the process. Hmm.
My wife slept with multiple dancers at a bachelorette party and then dropped a bombshell in court. Dear True Story, I recently discovered your channel after YouTube recommended me a video about a man whose wife cheated at a bachelorette party. I had to pause halfway through the video, man. I was sitting there just shaking my head because it was almost like you were reading my story. I figured, hell, I might as well share mine too. Maybe someone out there can relate or learn from my mistakes before they go through what I did. My name's Robert, and I'm writing to you from Florida. I'm 38 now, divorced, no kids, thank God, and finally living a peaceful life after a nightmare marriage that fell apart in the most humiliating way possible. My ex wife, let's call her H, blew up our marriage after attending a coworker's bachelorette party. Not only did she cheat, but she cheated with multiple men, dancers. And it gets worse, a whole lot worse. Let me start from the beginning, how we met. I met H when I was 27. She was 24 and had just moved into the city for a new job. I was working in Akai, and she was doing admin work at a local dental office. We met through mutual friends at a backyard cookout. She had this kind of quiet charm. She wasn't loud or in your face like some of the women I dated before. She told me early on she was done partying, and honestly, I liked that. I'd had my wild years too, and I was ready to settle down. We started dating pretty seriously within a month. Things just clicked. She was thoughtful, affectionate, and always talked about wanting a simple, peaceful life. We used to take long walks, cook together, talk about our future, what kind of house we wanted, how many kids. You know, all the stuff that makes you think you found your person. She told me on our second anniversary, I used to think the club life was fun, but I don't miss it at all. I want you, a ring, a home, and a dog. That's it. We got married a year later. That first year of marriage was golden. I mean it. No fights, no drama. We both worked hard, saved money, and bought a small starter home. I trusted her completely. I never once checked her phone, questioned her whereabouts, or worried about anything. She had me wrapped around her finger, and not in a bad way. I just never imagined she'd be the type to betray me. The party she desperately needed. Fast forward to year 3 of our marriage. Things were stable. Not overly exciting, but that's married life sometimes. She came home one evening and said her coworker Melissa was having a bachelorette party, a girls' weekend type thing with drinks, dancing, and some private entertainment. I remember raising an eyebrow and saying, "Private entertainment?" She smiled and said, "Yeah, like male dancers. You know how it is. But it's just silly fun. Nothing serious." To be honest, I didn't like the sound of it. I wasn't insecure or controlling, but I knew what those parties could turn into. Still, she hit me with that classic line, "Babe, I don't do anything fun anymore. I go to work and come home. I just want one night to let loose with the girls. Please trust me." She even joked, "I'm going to be the boring one there anyway." So I let her go. I trusted her. That trust would turn out to be the dumbest decision I've ever made. The phone call. That night, I stayed in. Ordered pizza, played some video games, had a beer or two. I think it was around 1:30 a.m. when my phone rang. I saw it was one of H's coworkers, someone I'd only met once. Let's call her Sam. She was whispering frantically, "Robert, I'm so sorry for calling, but you need to come right now. H is making a huge mistake. She's drunk and she's with the dancers, plural. I can't stop her. Please come." My heart sank. I jumped in my truck and drove like a madman to the Airbnb they had rented. Sam met me outside and looked horrified. She was trembling. She unlocked the door and let me inside quietly. And that's when I saw it. There was H, completely naked, passed out on the bed. There were 3 men, all nude, standing around with drinks, laughing and chatting. One of them even looked at me and said, "You good, bro?" That moment still replays in my head sometimes. I grabbed a blanket, wrapped H in it, and carried her to the truck. She didn't fight me, she was out cold. When we got home, she sobered up enough to start crying. She admitted to everything, said she didn't know what got into her, that she was sorry, that she never meant for it to go that far. She said she wanted to go to counseling, that she'd go to church, confess her sins, do anything. Just don't leave her. But I looked her dead in the eye and said, "This marriage is over." The divorce process and the pregnancy bombshell. I contacted a lawyer the very next day. No hesitation. I was furious, humiliated, and disgusted. I changed the locks, moved her things into storage, and filed for divorce. She begged. Oh, she begged like I've never seen. She wrote letters, showed up at my office crying, had her mom call me. Please don't throw away our marriage over one mistake. But what she did wasn't a mistake. It was a choice, a conscious, disgusting choice. We were midway through the divorce process when her lawyer dropped a bomb. H was pregnant. I nearly blacked out in that courtroom. I remember my lawyer grabbing my arm and whispering, "Don't say a word." Her lawyer argued that since I was the husband, I was presumed to be the legal father. They tried to use that as leverage, said I had obligations, regardless of biology. I laughed out loud right there in court. You want me to pay child support for a kid that was made during an orgy with strangers? The judge ordered a DNA test. That delayed the divorce by several months. Sure enough, the test came back, not mine. The relief I felt that day was overwhelming. I looked at her one last time and just shook my head. I didn't even feel angry anymore. Just empty. Legal shenanigans. Her lawyer was relentless, though. Tried to argue that since the child was conceived during the marriage, I should still have financial responsibility. Even brought up some obscure Florida law about marital presumption. My lawyer shut it all down. Showed the judge the DNA results, the timelines, the testimony. He even had the text messages from Sam and statements from the other girls who were there that night. It was airtight. Still, her team kept pushing for equitable support, claimed she'd become financially dependent on the marriage and would suffer economic hardship. That was rich coming from someone who broke the vows. The judge wasn't buying it. He finalized the divorce and ruled that I owed her nothing. No alimony, no support, and obviously no responsibility for the baby. The final papers felt like a victory medal in my hands. Life after the storm. It's been over 2 years since that mess. H moved out of state to live with her sister. From what I hear, she still doesn't know who the baby's father is. The last time I saw her was at the final hearing. She looked worn down, like she aged 10 years in a matter of months. As for me, I've taken time to rebuild. Therapy helped. So did hitting the gym, going on hikes, and reconnecting with old friends. I haven't dated seriously since. I'm not saying I never will again, but the trust? That's going to take time. I learned a lot through all this. Mainly, never ignore red flags. If someone feels the need to beg for a night of fun, they probably already made up their mind about what they plan to do. And if someone shows you who they are in a moment of temptation, believe them. I also learned that forgiveness isn't the same as reconciliation. I forgive H in my heart because I refuse to carry her betrayal like a weight around my neck. But I'll never go back, not even if she changed her name and joined a convent. Final thoughts. I wanted to share my story because I know I'm not the only one. There are men out there being told they're crazy or controlling for being cautious, when in reality, they're just trying to protect their peace. To those guys, I say this: trust is earned every day. Don't give it blindly just because you said I do. And to you, true story, thank you. Your platform gave me the courage to write this out. If you read this on your channel, I just want the world to know I'm not broken. I'm not bitter. I'm better. Stay strong, brothers. Sincerely, Robert. Hey, true story. I hope this email finds you well. Thank you for reading my first email, or even just considering it. After writing out everything that happened with my ex-wife H and what went down at that bachelorette party, I felt like a weight had been lifted off my chest. But as you probably know by now, with stories like mine, there's always more. So here I am with part 2, the next chapter in the saga, and honestly, the one that I'm proudest of. This is the part where I moved on, started healing, dated again, and still had to deal with my ex trying to worm her way back into my life even after everything she did. If you do decide to share this with your audience, I hope it helps someone the way other stories on your channel helped me. A new beginning. After I finally got the divorce finalized, thanks to the DNA test proving the child wasn't mine, I went through a period of total silence. My phone stopped buzzing, my house felt emptier than ever, and for a while, I felt like a ghost in my own life. The things I used to enjoy just didn't bring me joy anymore. Music didn't hit the same. Food didn't taste the same. Everything felt like it was in black and white. But I told myself that if I survived what H did to me, I owed it to myself to do more than just exist. I had to live again. So I started small. I began hitting the gym again, not to get revenge fit or anything, but just to feel like I had some control over my body and mind. The first week sucked. I was sore, tired, and annoyed at how much I had let myself go. But something about that pain felt good, like I was shedding an old skin. Then came therapy. Yep, I did it. Found a male therapist who understood men's issues, especially around betrayal and infidelity. One of the first things he said to me was, "You're not crazy for trusting her. That's what husbands do. What she did is a reflection of her, not you." I swear, I almost cried right there in his office. Week by week, I got stronger. My head got clearer. I stopped replaying the scene in that hotel room. I stopped asking what I could have done differently, because the truth is, I was a good husband. She was a bad wife. End of story. Dipping a toe back into dating. About 9 months post-divorce, a friend convinced me to make a dating profile. Man, the dating world had changed. Apps felt more like games than actual ways to meet people. Swipe left, swipe right, ghost, breadcrumb, you name it. Still, I figured I'd at least try. And I did meet a few women. Some were sweet, some were nuts, some just wanted a meal ticket. There was one woman, Rachel, who I dated for about 3 months. She was funny, beautiful, and actually listened when I talked, but I wasn't ready. I realized I was still comparing every woman to H. Not in a I want her back kind of way, but more like, are you going to betray me too? That wasn't fair to Rachel, so I ended it. Told her she deserved someone who could give 100%. She appreciated the honesty. That moment taught me a valuable lesson. Just because you're single doesn't mean you're healed. Healing takes time. And I was still a work in progress. Messages from the past. Just when I thought things were finally behind me, H popped back up like a bad habit. It started with a text. H, I know you hate me, but I still think about you. I'm sorry for everything. I didn't respond. Then came the emails. Subject, please just read this. Robert, I'm not asking for you to take me back. I just want you to know that I made the biggest mistake of my life. I've been going to church. I've confessed. I've changed. The baby isn't yours, but I still wish you were his father. You were the best thing in my life. Again, I ignored her. Then she sent pictures of the baby, I guess hoping that seeing a baby would melt my heart and make me want to play house again. It didn't. What it did do was make me mad. Not because of the kid, but because she was still trying to manipulate me with guilt and nostalgia. Like we didn't both know what happened in that room with those 3 men. Eventually, I blocked her on everything, changed my number, even created a new email just to stop her from contacting me. That should have been the end of it. But nope. Her mom emailed me, said I was being cruel and that everyone makes mistakes. Let me tell you something, true story. A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk on the way home. A mistake is saying something dumb in an argument. Getting drunk and sleeping with multiple strippers at a bachelorette party while your husband is at home trusting you. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. Letters I never sent. As part of my therapy, I wrote letters to H that I never sent, just to get the poison out. Here's part of one. You didn't just cheat on me, you humiliated me. You turned me into a story people whisper about. But you know what? I survived. I came out stronger. You broke the old me, but the man that stands now, he's unbreakable. That letter will never see her eyes, but it helped me. Where I am now. I live near the beach. I work out regularly. I cook. I read. I travel. I laugh. And most importantly, I trust myself again. I'm not in a rush to get remarried. Honestly, I might not ever go down that road again, but if I do, it'll be with someone who has integrity, not just charm. Someone who values loyalty as much as love. People ask me sometimes if I miss her. The answer is no. I miss the man I was before she betrayed me. But that man had to die so this new version of me could be born. So yeah, that's part 2 of my story. Thank you again for creating a platform where men can speak their truth. We need more of that. If you read this, I appreciate you. If you share it, I hope it helps someone see that there is life after betrayal. A damn good one. Take care. Robert. True. I can't believe I left this out. Dude, family isn't always on your side. Family isn't always family. When the truth came out about H cheating on me at that bachelorette party, I thought at least my side of the family would stand with me. I mean, what sane person would expect a man to stay married after walking in on his naked wife in a room full of men? You'd think it was open and shut. But it wasn't. Some of them turned on me. Quiet at first, then louder. It started with my aunt. She called me a week after I filed for divorce. I thought she was checking in. Robert, baby, I'm not saying she was right, but maybe you're being too harsh. You've invested so much into her. Marriage is about forgiveness. I sat there in silence. This woman had been married and divorced twice, and here she was, telling me about commitment. I thanked her for the call and hung up. Then came my cousin, Marlon. He's one of those Bible quoting when it's convenient types. He cornered me at a family barbecue. You know, man, a good woman is hard to find, and sometimes the devil tests us. You sure this ain't a test you supposed to get through together? I nearly lost it. A test? Bro, she failed the test when she let 3 men take turns with her while I was at home sleeping like a fool. That's not a test. That's betrayal. He shook his head and said, "We all got skeletons." Yeah, well, mine didn't come with a paternity test and court dates. My own mother. Now this one hurt. I love my mom. She's always been the rock in our family. Strong, kind, God-fearing. But when she found out I had finalized the divorce, even after the baby wasn't mine, she sat me down in her living room. Son, I raised you to honor your vows. I know what she did was wrong. But do you really want to throw away a marriage you built over one mistake? I couldn't believe it. Mom, she had sex with 3 men at a party, then lied about it. Then tried to pin a baby on me that wasn't even mine. That's not a mistake. That's a lifestyle. She sighed and said, "Well, I just don't want you to be alone." That was the moment I realized that even the people who love you can project their fears onto your life. My mom had seen too many women in our family abandoned, left to raise kids on their own. She thought me staying would somehow protect H, or the idea of family. But what about protecting me? The ultimate betrayal, my brother. Now, this one I've barely told anyone, but I'll put it here because your platform is a place for the truth. My older brother, Calvin, used to be my hero. He taught me how to shave, throw a football, and talk to girls. Turns out he was also talking to my ex wife behind my back during the divorce. Nothing physical happened, at least not to my knowledge, but he was texting her, encouraging her, telling her I was emotional and would come around. She forwarded me one of their texts. Calvin, he's just hurt, but deep down he still loves you. Just give him time. That was the final straw for me. I called Calvin and told him to lose my number. Haven't spoken to him since. Family doesn't always stab you in the back. Sometimes they stab you in the chest and ask why you're bleeding. Why I'm sharing this? I know people will hear my story and think I'm bitter or holding grudges, but that's not what this is. This is about telling the whole truth. Because when betrayal happens, especially to men, people love to minimize it. They want us to be stoic, to forgive quickly, to man up. But I was man enough to walk away from a toxic marriage. I was man enough to tell my own family no when they tried to gaslight me into staying. And I'm man enough to share this story so that another guy out there doesn't feel crazy when his own people turn on him. Final thoughts. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just aware. I've built a new circle of people who support me, no conditions attached. And for the family who stuck by me, like my little sister Tasha and my uncle Ronnie, I'm forever grateful. They didn't ask for details. They just said, "We got your back." And that's all I ever needed. So thank you again, True Story, for reading, for giving guys like me a voice, for creating a space where we don't have to sugarcoat our pain. This is the last time I'll write in, unless something else wild happens. But even if this never makes it on the channel, just writing it has been healing. Take care. Robert.